Hi there, if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, and if you are brand new to my channel, then hi, welcome, nice to meet you. I'm Ashley, how are you today? Today I am reviewing a film that up until a couple months ago I had never heard of, never knew existed, I don't know if I had any intention of really watching this, but I finally got around to watching it because I thought, you know what, I should spend this month trying to watch some more relaxing films, do some more reviews on my channel because I haven't actually done that many this year. You know, I can't really blame COVID. COVID's not an excuse. There's like decades of films that I could watch. But nevertheless, I've got this one, and I have some very strong thoughts and feelings about this film, so let's just get on with my review for Stage Mother. Stage Mother is a 2020 Canadian comedy drama film directed by Tomm Fitzgerald and written by Brad Hennig. In it, a conservative church choir director inherits a drag club in San Francisco started by her deceased son, from whom she was estranged after he came out as gay. So my brother gave this to me, and he sold this to me based on two things: drag queens and Lucy Liu. He didn't, however, tell me how emotional of a film this actually was. Perhaps he didn't find it as emotional as I did, who can say? But I spent majority of the film tearing up or breaking out into full-blown sobs, especially by the end. If you saw my Insta story the other night, you'll know I was a hot, tear-stained mess, and it was all because of this movie, and that, my dears, is a compliment. This is a small production film, but what it lacks in production, it makes up for in heart. Every single character has an emotional story that pulls at your heartstrings, but none hit you harder than our lead Maybelline Metcalf, played by Australia's own Jackie Weaver. This film is about growth and second chances. It also is an educational piece on how prejudice isn't something we're born with, and it's not something we're stuck with for the rest of our lives. We can grow beyond them and learn better. The first 10 minutes we're introduced to Maybelline tell more about her than the whole film. She directs her church choir, and she doesn't seem like a happy or fulfilled woman. Then she gets the soul-crushing news her only child has died. A child she hadn't spoken to in 10 years because she didn't know how to handle him being gay. But you can't hate her, not even for a moment, because the level of pain and grief she feels at the news of his death tells us she never stopped loving her son. She just didn't know what to do. But then the backstory thickens. As Maybelline cries in her bed, she asks her husband if he had booked their flight for the funeral, when he dismissively tells her she's not going, that she's in no condition. The shock and hurt on her face says it all. She defiantly ignores her husband and goes anyway. From these brief words, we can tell Jeb, played by Hugh Thompson, was the real homophobe who couldn't handle his son being gay and has seen him as dead for the past 10 years. Maybelline never stopped loving and missing her son, but was trapped under a controlling and domineering man, too weak to stand up to him, not even for her own son. Throughout the film, Maybelline has to learn about the son she lost and the years she missed. She steps into his world and finds it embracing her. She saves his business, helps his boyfriend Nathan, played by Adrian Grenier, to remain stable and secure the livelihoods of all his drag friends and family. She even helps his single mother best friend Sienna, played by Lucy Liu, gain stability in her life. Are these the acts of a woman seeking redemption? In a way, I'm sure it is, but she's a very honest woman. She makes a few jokes about her personality, always owning up to what kind of a woman she is when insulted, and you have to admire it. What I think we're seeing is a woman dealing with her grief and trying to find a way to reconnect with her son, make amends, and stop others from having the same fate as her and her son. She repairs several relationships. She encourages a trans woman to finally confront her ex-wife with the truth of her transness, helps a drug addict not become like her son, and helps a mother who had turned her back on her gay son realize the horrible mistake she had made. Then to top it all off, she lets them, their experiences, and everything she learned about her son give her the strength she never had to say adios to her domineering husband and their loveless marriage and start over in a much happier life. This film tackles so many realities of the LGBTQ+ community and does all of it naturally. It doesn't make a song and dance about it. It doesn't have characters running around announcing their genders or sexualities. It just has them living their lives, which I could not have been more grateful for. It treats treats them as human beings. It shows that drag is not a sexual orientation, it's an art form and a career choice, and for many it's a struggle. RuPaul's Drag Race may be shooting some queens to fame, but many others still have to scrounge for a dime. We meet Cherry Poppins, played by trans actress Maya Taylor, whose breakout role was in the 2015 film Tangerine. She is living her authentic self, but has to deal with the hard realities of being trans. Now, this film doesn't focus on Cherry's transition like so many others do. Instead, this film showed us that Cherry is trying to come to terms with her past, where she was a married man, so that she can move forward and be herself, meanwhile struggling to get approved for gender reassignment surgery. I think it was great that they showed Cherry had a real life as a man before this moment in time. There are so many people who don't realize or deny to themselves who they are, and they try to live the life they think they're meant to live, and it has a domino effect. And that's a reality for so many people. I also appreciate that this shows trans isn't identity, drag is a job or art form, but they can and do coexist. The film, I think, is open but tasteful about the subject of drugs in the LGBTQ+ community, especially in the club scene. It's been that way for a long time, and it is an unfortunate and accepted part of gay club culture. I know we have it here in Australia too, and it saddens me. So many people whose lives were snuffed out due to drugs, and it often happening in places that are meant to be a sanctuary. I have seen many queens from Drag Race and many members of the LGBTQ+ community talk about their struggles with addiction and talk about how prevalent drugs are in gay clubs. It is a sad reality, and there are programs, but not enough is being done. And the truth is, we don't get to the root of it. Fact is, most people turn to drugs because they're unhappy, and maybe if the world and their families were more accepting, members of the community wouldn't have to find solace in something so lethal. I like that this film addressed this. I like that it was weaved into the story and is something that personally affected most of the characters, especially those most central to the story, and it did so in a way that wasn't gross or dramatic. I loved watching this gay bar get a makeover and watching these queens become better performers, though I don't understand why so many small production films that involve drag queens always have them looking busted. Their makeup is rough, the hair is a shake and go, and the outfits are hodgepodge at best. In this film, that was the case for many characters. They looked rough, and I've never seen even a queen without a penny to her name look that busted. Now, some characters, it was clear, had a budget problem, so that explained outfits and hair, but that didn't excuse the makeup. The drag mother Dusty, played by Jackie Beat, aka Ken Fuhrer, always had flawless makeup and wigs and costumes, and I couldn't understand why she wasn't sharing some makeup tips with her drag daughters. Of course, Maybelline comes along and magically their wigs and makeup get better. Not that they got tips on that from her. The outfits, I'll give them. Turns out Lucy Luciana went to school for fashion design, so in her free time she now makes the queen's stunning outfits. Isn't that a perfect coincidence? Everyone realizes their potential. I love that they cast Lucy Liu to play like this 30-something-year-old new single mother, because Lucy Liu is 51 and she still looks goddamn terrific. I love her character is very carefree, maybe a little too much. She helps Maybelline get her foot in the door and give her a chance to make amends, and in return Maybelline helps Sienna live a better life. Everyone is winning. Maybelline and Nathan start off very rocky. Nathan is dealing with his grief and fear. He's about to lose his home, his business, his entire life in the blink of an eye, and then he has to deal with a woman who he was taught to hate. In the end, he processes his grief and sees Maybelline as a mother, and the two form a beautiful relationship that would have made her son Ricky very proud if only it had happened while he was alive. I do feel they could have done a lot more with Nathan's character, as the growth between Nathan and Maybelline was mostly off screen, and given he has such a large stake in so many aspects of the story, it would have only felt right that they include him more. The pacing is a little slow in places, and some of the performances are a little stiff. It's far from perfect, but I can truly forgive all of that because of how deep everyone and their stories hit me. The ending was the most beautiful tribute and goodbye a mother could give to her son, and more than a tribute, it was like a rebirth. It was like part of her son was reborn too, and he can live on through her, because even though we didn't really meet his character, we learned so much about him and what kind of a person he was, and just how much he loved his mother simply by how everyone remembered him, and it was one of the most beautiful and heartwarming things I had seen in a while. A few quality concerns could not and did not make this any less of a beautiful film. Seriously, that ending, I was getting a little choked up, but I almost started crying when I was saying that last part, because The film ends with her performing Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler, which is one of my all-time favorite songs, but there was just so much emotion in it, and it made me look at the song in a completely different way, and so I was completely hysterical, and I feel like I'm gonna start crying now because I'm such a sook. And so just thinking about it, it really like hits you hard, because, you know, as they're doing it, they show little flashbacks, and it just really gives you this context of how much this song meant to her, what it meant to her son, and this was kind of like their song. And it's like, it's already an amazing ballad. It's one of the most amazing rock ballads there is. One of, didn't say number one, I said one of. And this just made me go, oh my god, I've never heard this song, and it made me want to cry. You know, it makes me want to like burst out singing, but this time I again, if you saw my Insta story, it was just tears are coming down my neck, down my chest, through my cleavage. It was a mess. But that's the power of film. My brother actually came by the next day, and I came up to him like, well, thank you very much. I watched Stage Mother last night. He's like, and I'm like, and I cried the whole time. And he just had this look on his face like, really? And I'm just like, I don't forgive you for this. But anyway, so thank you to my brother for suggesting this movie to me. Yes, I cried, but it was like there's sad tears, but it was like, it was good. Like, it's not because I'm like, ah, this movie was shit. No, it was a really good film. It's not perfect. It's low budget, and I don't even care. Oh god, the heart. It's all about the heart. Anyway, that is it for today's video. If you have seen Stage Mother, then by all means comment down below and tell me what you think of this film. Would love to hear from you, because without my brother recommending this to me, I had not seen anybody else mention this film at all. So if you happen to be one of those people who has actually seen this, please by all means share your thoughts on the film below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you as always to my awesome patrons. I am off to, I don't know, edit or make more videos. We will see. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!